We're getting the next set ready here. As Yaya Stars are going to be staying up on stream here, but now we have a name that a lot will know is Salt and Pepper.
A team that has been around for so long, years.
Oh yeah.
More than
I know
two.
they've been around since Grillers started, and we're 3 years old. So.
Exactly. But yeah, it's that level of commitment to the game and just enjoying what they've been doing for so long, that they've stuck with it for this long, going to lands consistently since the SNS days. They are a weathered team for sure, and they're going to make top cut almost definitely.
I remember being at a point where it's just like, cool, yeah, we're at the same div as the Salt and Pepper and all this stuff, and then the Salt and Pepper just they definitely rose up, and just watching them rise, and I know a few of my teammates are here just full on ready to support these matches. Like, it's just like, we're going to be back here. It's just like, yes, I'm going to be on mic, but also we have to watch the Salt and Pepper play. And I'm like, okay.
They're a fan favorite. I would
absolutely
reckon that they have built their following, and for good reason.
Oh, yeah.
Because they just had so many members that have been so beloved by the community, like Siren, like JPEG, who have all come and gone through that team, like Soren, who's up there now with them.
Yep.
And it's such a big friend group that they've grown as well. It's wild what they've been able to do.
Yeah, once one thing starts, it just becomes a whole big family. And even if like the main group can't make it, you can still look at those people who have been there or who have played with that squad prior. They can just come back and just everything will still feel mostly synergized once, like after playing like the first 2 games. It's like, oh my gosh, the nostalgia. And it's amazing when that happens. And I know I've experienced this myself, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, like team synergy like that is like riding a bike again.
Oh yeah.
You know, like you wobble a little bit at first, and then all of a sudden everything clicks, and you're just like you're zooming down the highway. Maybe not the highway, that would be illegal. You're zooming down the street with your friends.
Yep, just at night, just bike riding with your friends, and there we go.
That's a beautiful image. A lot of players on this roster are also ones that we know, and ones that I personally know a good bit about, having played them a bunch, having scrimmed them before. And I am excited to see, because we are seeing another Brush player in this pool.
Oh my goodness.
In Nevils.
Brushes galore.
Yeah, honestly, it's a joy to see, because it's a weapon that you really don't see too much. But like Kingmaker's here, Knee, Lucio. I love that there's so many Brush players here, because it is Opie is here as well. There's so many Brush players here. Now that I think about it, what in the world?
Now
but all of them are so strong.
It's great when you go to a LAN and just find a person who plays the same weapon as you. It's just like, yeah, no, it's this club. Well, unless if you clash with another one who doesn't appreciate the other variant. Pop gun. Anywho.
Somehow I knew we were going there. But
I'm not letting them live it down.
We are going to Clan Blitz on Humpback Pump Track. And this is a very good opportunity for the Brushes to show up and show what they're made of. I'm excited for this.
It's a track. They run on it. They run on the sides. This is it's meant for the Brushes, and it'll be interesting to see if others, like this is also a fall-off map. You can see basically any bunch of different kind of comps work on this map.
Yeah, especially things like sloshers, although Jeff from A2P is not here, their main slosher player. Although Soren is probably going to use something like a Nautilus here, which really likes like those fall-off spots, those arc shots.
The arc shots, absolutely. Those are really great to get from like cubby and window and just staying in mid. And if you're trying to shoot from above to get someone there, it's just like, yeah, I know fall-off all too well. And it is fantastic when it works. So yeah, Knots you've been seeing a lot here. Really anything that they pull out here. So we'll see if Yaya Stars is actually going to stick with similar things. I think the Brush is probably still going to come out. The blaster underneath the ledge of the clam goal is what A2P doesn't want to have happen. And I imagine they're going to set up with that.
Oh, they're going to have that in mind. They're definitely, if they aren't cognizant of that and clearing that ledge every single time, it's going to be a huge, huge issue. Let's see if they can do it. It's probably going to be a mirror match of Nautilus and Brush. So this is going to be very interesting to see how they play around each other. We are going into round 2 of Redemption Pools here on the IPL Splatoon Twitch channel. Thank you all for tuning in to Low Tide City. Those are redemption pools. These players are playing for a spot in top cut.
Whoa. We've got a Dynamo. I love seeing this. Yes, the K Dynamo coming out on Humpback. A Dynamo's one of like Dynamo's basically favorite map. And we're going to see a lot of pressure being dealt here by the Dynamo as long as it can still have this space to flick and give paint. And it looks like already Skit has been found out somewhere and picked off by the K shot from A2P.
And the missiles coming in, Soren using those missiles effectively, and here comes 17 Rats with the Clam, able to dunk it and put on pressure right underneath the basket. Look at the Dynamo. Look at the spot the Dynamo is taking.
Yep.
And in combination with that baller, able to put on so much pressure in that bunker
Soren
area.
here trying to get the knot.
It does. Wow, this push is still going.
It is still going. It is not over yet. Soren still gets another pick. That's huge. It's just the Brush left alive. A2P with all this control, and their Brush is back in mid here somewhere trying to get them from behind. But the Dynamo and other power the Brush. Finally, the Brush does go down. They did get the Dynamo. The K-Shot, I believe Yaya Starz has finally defended the basket. It looks like they're going to try to move up, but Skid is marked here. They do have a point sensor or mine here that is getting, they got the mines here that are getting Skit, and that is making it really hard for Skit to try to go in and get these corners, which a Blaster loves to do.
Look at these specials. I just realized that this is a double splashdown composition, and I'm slowly just getting a little bit of vomit in my mouth. For 17 Rats here, trying to make a push, able to get in that Clam basket, take the pressure off of mid for just a little bit, and because of that, look at A2P already in mid. Look at Dan with that spot. So huge on that Dynamo roll, and if Soren can stick by and protect the Dan, it's going to be massive. But Jay's got something to say. Unfortunately, can't get the words out. Mom's spaghetti all over the place. This mist is able to prevent this, a couple of pushes from going on, but not for too long, especially if they come in and switch to this left side, which Dan is doing. And Devi, this is so good from A2P.
It's absolutely is. Like they got right in here. The Dynamo's in a good spot here watching window. Unfortunately, their Brush does get picked out, but yet they still have a decent amount of mid control. It looks like they are opting to back up. They do know that they are losing mid. Skit here calling for people to move up. But people have, as I like to say it, people have Skit's number and are trying to call it.
And call it they do. Talking about having something to say when you can't even get the words out on the phone. And it's looking like that's going to be the case for Yaya Starz here. A full wipe. And A2P, excuse me, has the Clams to potentially end this thing in one go.
They really do. They have the Baller here, too, to stall. The Baller is probably going to go up on this ledge here. Yep, I definitely figured that was going to happen and made it over. The bomb didn't stop it, but the Baller does get shredded. However, the Brush is still alive, stalling here. Can they get these last couple Clams?
Dan's there up top. Dan's stuck in the Dynamo. The least ratty weapon around, the one who has a movement debuff, sneaking in.
Okay, look. Any weapon can flank on this map.
Well, you know what?
Take it from me.
I've seen you do it.
Any weapon can flank on this map. And with the Dynamo going up there, no one wants to fight a Dynamo when they're that aggro.
Honestly,
they have
yeah.
all of that flick pressure, and they can just lock that out. And with them getting up there as well, it's just like, yeah, if they have Clams, score them.
And if it's because of that range, right? It's,
oh, yeah.
If they can find themselves in that sweet spot, no matter where that sweet spot is, if they can get to that position, then they're fine.
Yeah, there's... Yeah, the Humpback is the second map where I'll say any weapon can flank. It just really opts that out, and the Dynamo just being up there, one, it can add the pressure, and I think it got up there just to get the last few Clams in. But at the very end there as well, we saw the Blaster just nearby, but it can only hit one person.
Yeah.
It was just the one up under the Clam goal, and then there was one right underneath. We saw at the end just side-by-side pick frame is the Blaster was right there, and then another member from A2P was just beside it.
Good stuff. I mean, this is what we expect. Like we were saying, A2P is the team to beat, right? And it's so tough seeing them just stomp all over Yaya Starz, but it's not what we didn't expect. But on Splatzone's Reef, something like a double splashdown composition can work. Yeah. I can say that.
Yeah, it can. It can. It definitely can. One of the things that a lot of these splashdown comps do is that they'll have these weapons that have the splashdown somewhere nearby bridge, and then when zones being taken over by like bubbles or
those are the big ones,
like bomb rushes. That's what I'm
bomb
doing.
Rushes.
They can just go like, I'm just gonna jump down, and ta-da! They shut it down, and it might not fully paint it, but it cancels the specials. So that way you have to make sure that the weapons are actually painting back over the splashdown that happens now that they've lost their special.
But you know what's the one special that Splashdown can't do well against? It's missiles.
That's true, but they can still move around if they time the splashdown.
Right, yeah, no, and that's the thing,
if they
right?
splash down in missiles, then they're using it wrong.
Right. But it's one of those things where, like, if Splashdown had that functionality, it would be great. Surskit pulling out a carbon roller.
Oh, we're changing
This is Low
it
Tide
up
City.
here. Surskit thinking, I'm getting caught out too much with the blasters. So we are bringing out the carbon indeed, looking to see if they can try to take bridge. It looks like Skit and the tent trying to work. Looks like initial pick wasn't found, but Skit just looking around, finding these edges, able to still move around a lot. So Jay getting a nice pick there on Soren there, but however, just I'm not too sure what got the splat from behind, but getting a pick in return and just I'm surprised the brush stopped there. The brush actually almost had that pick if it was just one more flick. But
and you know what? Forced the Ultra Stamp to come out, unfortunately. That gets two, I think, on the members' side of A2P. All of a sudden, a huge hammer play ends up getting them the advantage and maybe even the zone here. Wow, I can't believe that. I loved how this stamp is playing currently, using a J alongside that stamp, the tent shield to create so much pressure and to get the aggro off of Jay on that shorter range weapon that's not the Nautilus, especially on something like a carbon roller who can sit on these ledges.
Oh, something I've seen. Oh my goodness.
Beamed.
This is what Skit wants. Skit is doing a lot of different kind of jumps and into places where they can be like advantageous, where the jump will be safe, can come in and help with the fight. We've seen Skit do it earlier, and now we're seeing Skit do it again, but with a different weapon. And with Carbon, you can do the whole jump in roller bonk method, and that is what we were seeing Skit trying to do.
And do it he did. Unfortunately, going down here, it looks like HP has finally gotten the control that they so desire. And so they desire a lockout. And it is going to be tough to break through. This is an infamous map for getting shoved all the way into your base. Unfortunately, there's no street pressure coming out on the side of A2P, but here it finally comes with that K-Gal trying to work around these missiles, not going to be able to find Surskit, and Gem is going to be able to at least find the zone here. Dan is not able to find, with the Flingza, the pick onto Gem, and is going to end up getting their teammate killed because of it. Gem's still trying to work around this Flingza roller, can't do anything. Dan able to get taken down, and this zone goes to Yaya Starz, and all of a sudden they look alive.
Yaya Starz coming right back. I think this carbon pick's actually definitely really helping out for them. More mobility and just extra burst and fall off that's really coming out here. And what is it? The tent is also doing a lot of nice work here, pushing out one direction. Because in the lockout, we saw the tent go out on the left side with the carbon roller going with it, and just the other members moving in. So they're following up really nicely with each other.
And I think that that's a really good point too, is the speed. You know, Blaster's such a slow weapon that needs to play methodically, needs to check corners, but with Carbon you can go in, you can get a flick if somebody catches the corner of your eye. If these chickens end up finding someone out, you can just go right after them, and you don't have to stop for it. Fortunately, Surskit going down there after chasing those chickens, not going to be able to find anything. This cat might go over to Yaya Starz, but barely. A2P is holding on because of the flank route that they were able to take and corner them underneath the zone. And Surskit jumping in, and Jays has something to say. But Neeble's able to cut the pressure and finally clear this out. That's a full wipe, and Yaya Starz only has about 20 seconds to get back into this map.
Yeah, they don't have long. They really got to find this way in. They're either going to have to work with the tent or really hope that the carbon can find a way in. But the baller here stalling. And looks like Skit here is trying from the other angle. Does get a nice pick.
Wow.
That was a beautiful pick from Skit. But however, Soren is in the way to answer that. And the Flingza here trying to stop the mini from painting a jump in does come on zone. But I think that's going to get caught out. And this looks like, the tent?
The tent, hold on.
How did
that not cap?
Wait, it's not over yet.
And Radish goes for the other side of the zone.
They
but
need
this
to hold
Bria's
the paint.
painting.
Oh, no.
No! There's still so little paint, but this junior's trying to guard
They're holding on for their life. Oh, they finally got the wipe. Oh, my gosh.
And the players are going crazy on stage. Oh. Wow. That was so. The smallest of margins prevented that zone from being capped by A2P, and they hanging on in that hectic of a situation is so important, and they were able to do it very effectively. Just calling players out, using that Booyah, even with the stamp, they realized that they had a win condition, right? Like they needed to get the paint down and get and so the tent couldn't focus on the Booyah bomb, and so the Booyah was able to come in, put more pressure on, prevent them from capping. Like, that was so clinical.
That came down to who can paint more and if one team's actually going to get the picks on the other. And finally, A2P finally got the wipe that they wanted to see, because even two members were still keeping that one zone neutral, just preventing them from getting those last 2 points down to a KO. And that was tight. I looked at the timer and I'm like, there's still time left, but yet we're down to 2 points, and this feels like it's overtime.
If they get that cap, it's a whole different game. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously. But the penalty that they would have gotten would have been huge and would have given them so many more opportunities. And if they had stayed alive, that would have been a big deal too.
Oh, my goodness. But that much Yaya Starz here coming back. I think they're finding a method that can be useful here against A2P, is bringing the carbon here.
Yeah.
And we found that carbon tent is working with them instead of having like the 2 mix, where the carbon can go off on its own, but the tent here will actually have people moving in with it, and then the carbon's going to pinch with it. And we see the tent just staying alive really well on its own, using its shield. And I know Jem's very experienced with the tent, so doing very good job there, even just holding out to stall out the one side of the zone as long as they could for the team to come in, but unfortunately just could not. The Yaya Starz just could not keep themselves up there at the end.
This comp that they're running is so tough to paint around, right? Like, it's so hard to get that step forward, get the paint down. But on a map like Tower Control Manta, you don't need that much paint to make a lot of room.
No, you don't. You just have to control really one area. Like, even just 2 bombs can paint like the street area entirely and just push people out.
And map control is very different from paint control.
Yes.
And so that difference is a huge distinction. We're going to have to see if teams can make that distinction. Game 3, this is the Salt and Pepper to almost knock Yaya Starz out of the running if they don't end up getting some good stuff, and depending on how the rest of the bracket goes. This could be A2P's ticket in.
It could be. Skid here changing to the Rapid. It's the not getting caught out first here, and 2 down already on the side of Yaya Starz. And I'd love to point out that there is a Dynamo and a C-Jet for this Tower Control Manta comp, and I'm loving this inside, in all honesty. Just having like 2 of these more midliner back sides working together for Tower, and they have Stingray and Booyah combination, but right now this brush is just in the way of everything.
This brush is in the way of everything. Everyone's in the way of everything. They've got so much forward presence. Moving ahead of the tower is what I always tell the younger teams, and they've been doing it so perfully. They're not even letting them get up on the mast.
Oh, the Dynamo! Dan here up in prime position.
I can't believe they got that pick.
Oh my goodness. Just having the Dynamo on this map, Dynamo can do so much. It's just a quick KO. We hardly even got to say much about this.
And very different from the TC Manta that we saw at Riptide. A2P takes it, and I did check Smash GG. They are going to top cut tomorrow.
Bravo for them. That definitely does it there. But I was even going to just point out, like, this is something, like, even just trying to move the tower into street there, if there was more things contesting it, the Dynamo riding the tower there, or just even up on top where, like, a Splatling would sit. Just the flick would hit over top, and Dynamo flicks are nasty to be in the way of.
Especially on that bunker area, too. Like, you can't hide on that wall, and which is, like, such a, in any other situation, it's your instinct to go behind that wall, to go behind that cover. But Dynamo doesn't let you do that, and that's why Dynamo is so tricky.
Yep, that is why Dynamo is tricky. Like, it's a slower moving, but if you're in the right place in a good time, like, it's similar to kind of like how a Hydra wants to position. Yeah. But in this case, the bonus that it has is that it takes away cover. It's that it's just it can be up close in your face, and it's just you're hiding behind here. Nah, I'm just gonna say away from
literally
both these angles.
Yeet. Quadratic formula, and all of a sudden you're done. So